There's a lot of eating in the trailer, and I was like surprised by like how much I'm eating. There were some moments season 2 where I was like, I'm really full. Maybe it's because of the strike. I'm like, I have time now to sit and like be still. And there has been a bit of a feeling where I'm like, wow, I haven't been still though in a few years. It's all stuff I'm so happy to be a part of, like projects that I really love, people that I loved working with, and things that I've loved learning on. And I've just always been the type, I think, where I really like learning, and I like getting to I get a bit restless after a while. And so I feel like maybe as a byproduct of those two qualities, I've been able to sort of go back and forth between acting and writing and producing. It's a bit wild. Getting a lot of like proud of you texts from my parents. Still thinking chaos menu?
Yeah, chaos menu, but thoughtful. Oh, gross. We need like a reset.
My whole family is just very driven. Both my parents are immigrants. My mom's from Barbados, my dad's from Nigeria. And like all my cousins are like doctors, lawyers, professors. And so I feel like they were like, okay, and so what's we're doing art? Like we don't know anybody in that world. We don't know what that looks like. I think for me, then it was just like, okay, so then I have to like have a plan, and I just have to work as hard as possible. I had started doing improv in high school, actually, and so I had always loved it. And one of my friends, Mike Scarrett, who, it's crazy. It's like we went to this very nerdy, academically geared, you're taking Latin for like 4 years type of school. And now he's here and he's like writing out here as well. But he was kind of the one who was like, there's like a whole world of this. When I got to NYU, even though I was studying teaching, I had tried out for a few improv groups at school and on campus. It was something that even though I had seen it and I knew that it was real, I hadn't totally like ingested it as like a truth and something that could have been a truth for me. Seeing that, I think was very freeing for me. And I think also once I changed majors, I had some really incredible professors at school who kind of laid out the realities of being a writer and being a creative, which is that you're freelancing forever, even if you have the most stable career. And I think when people are like, you're working a lot, I'm like, who else is gonna work? It's me paying my bills. Even if you're Whoopi Goldberg, you're still freelancing. You're still selling yourself. You're still working in like a gig-based economy. That weirdly was something where I was like, oh, okay, now that I know that, I understand how this can work. And I understand also that I get to make my career. You can define what you want. And I feel like for me, I'm like, I just want to keep chasing projects that make me excited. If it turns out that people aren't into them, then they're not into them. But like, I'm the one who's going to sleep in my head, in my bed at night. So it's like, if I feel proud of the work that I did and excited by it, then that's like all I care about. I'm like, wow, this is so existential.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
I'm Sydney. I called about the soup position. I'm staging today.
Right.
Sorry, yes, yeah. Carmi,
Hey.
here, you give me your,
yes.
Thank you.
Linear smoke vec.
That's some serious heat. What's UPS? That's in Chicago, or?
United Parcel Service.
We met before the pilot, a few weeks before, when we were doing a cooking class with each other. And so we went to culinary school, and that's where we met. And I also, at the time, I didn't drive. And he was like, what, you don't drive? And so he drove me home a few times, and that was when we like first got to get to know each other. And he was like, you really need to get your license. And I was like, yeah, no, for sure. For sure. I did get my license. He's the best. But there's sometimes moments where I'm like, even though we're close in age, I'm like, oh, like you are like a father, like you like, and you are like parenting me right now. Just obviously there's so much adrenaline and a lot of yelling. And both him and Eben are like the pinnacles of like Zen. Like they're just such chill, steady BPM, like low hertz, like vibes. And then like I feel like especially season 1, a lot of what I was thinking about was like stillness for Sydney. Like, I think she has a lot of anxiety and a lot of energy, but she keeps it very still. I'm somebody who is not that. I move a lot. I've got very long limbs. I love to move them. And like, especially in like my comedy, my stand-up, I'm like always thinking about like, how can my body just like take up as much space as possible? And with Sydney, it was like a lot of the opposite. And like, how do I move with like grace? And how do I move with like swiftness? How do I move keeping my body small, because I am a person, but especially a woman in a kitchen that's already a small, hot space, and people are thinking of my body in a certain way and having these like expectations of me. So how do I stay still? But then it's like, as soon as like, yeah, the cameras are off, it's like, they're like, and I'm like, everybody's weekends, you know?
Okay, Marcus, where are we on cakes?
Get in there.
Getting there? What the do you, Marcus, what the are you doing still working on this?
Yo, come on, what are you tripping for?
Come
the
on,
cakes are
what
in
the am I tripping for? Are you here right now?
It doesn't make a difference.
There's 4 cakes and still
Yeah, I was going to cut them.
They're not even cut yet?
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
I'm doing them in 5, basically. I'm gonna order them in 5.
Everything, fire everything right now.
It initially wasn't like a one-take episode. It was fun having parameters and knowing that like, oh, we just have one take with our one camera operator, Gary, and like we just have this time to do it, so let's just put it all on the floor. And it felt like a play, like we were doing a play in moments, because we didn't know necessarily where the camera would be in like a major sense, of course, like, you know, Gary will be here and then moving there to do this scene, XYZ, whatever. But you wouldn't know if you were gonna be in a shot or not, like even if it's like your shoulder or whatever. So it's just like everybody was on the whole time and aware of each other. It was like acting school. Like it really was like school. Like I just felt like my brain was exploding in the best possible way.
Quit around. Grab a can opener.
I really do love when she comes back at the end. That to me is Sydney. Like she's somebody who just wears her heart on her sleeve and wears her effort on her sleeve. The end is very funny to me, honestly, where I'm just like, they found this money and then they have the opportunity to get out and they want to make another restaurant. Like, are these people out of their minds? Yes. But so even if it's not, you know, the most like sound decision or the greatest decision for like her mental health or whatever, she's like, this is my dream. Like, I'm gonna go for it. And I want to work with these people, even though we might not totally understand each other or be like the best for each other. Like, I want to make this thing work. And I love that moment too, because it's like, it's just such a nice moment with Sydney and Carmi and with the whole kitchen crew just being there and just being like in awe of their lives at this moment, like together. She's more a part of the family in season 2. She's like excited to get to have more of a say and more of a voice, but it's also like it's still sort of Carmi's spot. So I think those tensions might be interesting to explore. Maybe, potentially.
It just feels like, you know, since you're staying here, it feels like you would tell me if you were going to be leaving. You should, okay, sorry, Mom. I'll make sure to check in next time. Please. Like Mom ever cared about where we were going. Yeah, we really took advantage of that. Yeah, you did.
I've known Quinta for a while, but I feel like whenever my friends make something, I'm like, I will consume it. I would say that I like it, but I will never ask for a part. And then one day she was just like, what's your schedule like? Like, is it insane? Because I know it's insane, but how insane is it? And I was like, why? And she was like, we've been sort of thinking about you in the room for Aisha, for Janine's sister. And this is sort of their backstory. She was like, it's gonna be an episode that will be funny, but like, I want somebody who has like can do some drama. And I was like, wait, I'm scared because I like this show and I know everybody I know likes this show and I don't want anybody to be mad at me that there's some drama in the episode. And then Mama Taraji came and closed out the season. That was incredible. I was so shook, but I was also like, I think this makes sense. Like as like who would be our mother? That would be like also so much of a tornado that like Janine is like sort of pulled and has to stay and has to be the rock, and that Aisha is like, I gotta go. Like it's not my scene. I gotta go. I obviously hope that she comes back, and there's some sort of then this is where I'm like I'm not gonna pitch. I'm gonna be a good guest star and be happy. But if there's like a Thanksgiving or a Christmas episode, you know what I mean? The whole family's back. I wouldn't.
So, my apologies for not being fully up to speed, but who exactly are the parents?
When I click my fingers, you will enter a trance-like state where you will hear nothing or see nothing. I will then click my fingers once more and you will regain consciousness, remembering nothing of this pause.
We were writing or doing our beat sheet and we were getting notes with the producers and talking about all of them, and they were like, there's something here with this idea of like the hypnotizing and just like how far can we push that? Like, can we see Benajidal like come back? Are we gonna see one of the impractical jokers? Like, literally, why not? Like, let's just see what happens if we write it. Like, let's just see what happens. But it was just, I think, like, best case scenario where we were just really trying to make each other laugh. I love that show so much. It's like one of the funniest shows on TV, like, period. And so getting to be in the room was truly like a dream. And I was so happy that we got assigned this episode and that we just got to make it as insane as possible. Matt Berry and the Guy Fieri getup, like, that's like one of the moments I'll be like proudest of my whole career, no matter how long or short it goes. Like, just getting a picture of like the costume fitting, I was like, actually, dreams do come true. Writing is weird. I think it is like sadly an important part of the job. Sometimes that you just have to spend time by yourself and just work on an idea and work it out in your head. And sometimes it's wonderful and you're like, oh God, my beautiful mind has never flown, more freely. But then also it's the same when it's writing with somebody else. Like, sometimes you get these miraculous, wonderful moments of just like connectivity and getting to chase an idea together and know you're like on the same path together. And then sometimes you're like sitting and you're just like, it's never been quieter. It's simply never been quieter, but you know that you're just like trying to find that thing, and you're trying to find that thing together. But I love writing with other people. I think as a writer, like, my favorite part is always the room and just trying to crack ideas together, and like, especially in a comedy, just trying to make each other laugh and kind of like solve puzzles together. That's always really fun. Just like when it seems like something won't work and it's been like 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, we found it. It was right in front of us the whole time. Like, here we go. Like, let's just keep going. When you're in spaces and you're like, oh good, like we were all hired for a reason. Like we all are supposed to be here and are all excited to be here and work on this thing together and learn together and just like forge forward together. Like, what more can you ask for?